Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. For those that are coming on, happy Kwanzaa. Habari Gani is the greeting during Kwanzaa. That means what's the news? And if anybody said Habari Gani to you today, your response should have been Ujamaa, which means cooperative economics. That's the principle for today. And we welcome you to Kwanzaa Live. We're going to take just a few minutes for those that intend to join us to see the notification that we're live and to join us. We're now live on my Facebook page and on the Act Enough Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel as well. So let's give some folks a chance to join us. I see a couple of folks coming on already. When you do join, type in hello, type in Habari Gani, type in Ujamaa, type something in so I see your name and not just a number so I can greet you. We have a great session set up for you tonight. As we learn about Ujamaa, we have a special guest that's going to talk to us about Ujamaa, and I'll bring her on in just a few minutes. Just want to give folks a chance to join us live. And while I'm doing that, I do want to ask our presenter if you can start tagging people as well, either on my Facebook Live broadcast or on the broadcast on the Enough Facebook page. Let's tag some folks and let's get them here with us. This has been our custom each night so far. And it works pretty well. Hey, Teresa, thanks for joining us tonight. Seen you a couple of nights during Kwanzaa Live. Thank you for joining. And I'd like to ask if you could tag some folks and let them know that we're here and that we look forward to sharing with them tonight as we discuss Ujamaa or cooperative economics. So let's give folks a chance. You know, folks are moving a little slowly. It is the holiday. People are doing all kinds of things. Had church today and mosque today or temple today or whatever they need to do, and now they're relaxing, getting ready for the Washington Commanders to beat the Atlanta Falcons tonight. So let's give folks a few seconds to join us, and then we will jump right in and get started. I'm just excited about Kwanzaa. I'm excited about Kwanzaa Live and what we're doing and what we've been doing. Hey, Dr. A, thanks for joining. God bless you. Looking forward to your session coming up here soon. Hey, look, for those that are on too, we're going to have an article in the Fredericksburg Free Press about Kwanzaa Live this year. The journalist has already talked to a couple of the presenters for this week, and I look forward to seeing the article in the Fredericksburg Free Press. Hey, Shelly, thanks for joining us tonight. Greetings to you, Habari Gani. Thanks for joining us. Look, before we jump in, one thing that I want to do tonight and the remaining nights that we're here is just go over the history of Kwanzaa just a little bit to make sure that everyone understands what Kwanzaa is and what Kwanzaa is not. It's not a religious celebration. I'll start by saying that it's not a religious celebration. It's not Muslim Christmas. It's not an African Christmas or anything like that. It was actually created in 1966, just 2 years before yours truly came into the earth by Dr. Maulana Karenga. And Karenga created it to celebrate and to unite the African American community. The Watts riots happened in 1965 and the community was fractured. There was a lot going on in the country and in the African American community at that time. And Karenga created Kwanzaa to unite people and to bring focus back to principles that are very important to us. These 7 principles cross cultures, cross racial lines, religious lines, etc. And Nguzo Saba is the Swahili term for the 7 principles. And the 7 principles that we talk about during Kwanzaa Live and during the period of Kwanzaa are listed right here. Umoja, which is unity. Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujamaa, cooperative economics, which we're going to discuss tonight. Nia, purpose. Dr. A is on. She's going to discuss Nia tomorrow. Koumba, creativity, which Josh Cole is going to discuss when his night comes up. And the final night is Imani, and that's faith. And that'll be discussed by Ivan Coates. So these principles, as you can see, cross all sorts of lines and communities and people, but they're principles that should be important to all of us. And Kwanzaa brings us to a point where we can discuss them, celebrate them, share them within our families, and more importantly, bring them to practice and begin to actually think about how can we be more unified? How can we be more determined and name ourselves and define ourselves? How can we be more focused, working collaboratively across our communities? How can we be more focused and being responsible for our communities, you know, our brothers and our sisters' problems being our own problems in helping to address them? How can we focus more economically across our communities, across our country, right? How can we focus more on purpose, et cetera, et cetera? So the purpose is to share Kwanzaa, share the principles, and hopefully when we leave each session, the people that attend leave the sessions with their minds on how they can bring them into practice, right? So here's a little bit of history. And one thing that I added at the end, traditionally on the last day of Kwanzaa, there's a big feast, right? An African feast initially, and it's called Karamu. And I didn't realize it, but for the last 15 years, we've been having a big Karamu on January 1st, and we did not equate it to Kwanzaa. And it's our annual spades tournament and fellowship. And families come together, friends come together. We have food, we have music, we have fellowship, we have fun, and we have a spades tournament at the same time. There's a lot of trash talking, but we do celebrate the ending of Kwanzaa. We've done it for the last 15 years with our own Karamu, which we celebrate on January 1st. So I thought about that when I was looking at my notes here. So I wanted to start with just a little bit of a history on Kwanzaa for those that may not have been familiar with it. Now, we're going to introduce our speaker for tonight. Let's see who's joined us live. I see Monica. Hey, Monica, thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing such a wonderful job the other night. Hey, Javante, thank you for joining us, sir. I'm glad you made it tonight. And hopefully that history slide was helpful for you. Based on our conversation today, hopefully it was a little helpful to you. And Tammy, thank you for joining us as well. Look, we're going to talk about Ujamaa tonight, cooperative economics, and we have a person well suited to cover that topic for us and with us. None other, many of you will know her, none other than Nicole Cole. Nicole Cole is a member of the Spotsylvania School Board. She's preparing to run for office next year. She's fundraising now and doing all the wonderful things that politicians do. And we're going to keep you in prayer, Nicole, because it cannot be fun. But let me bring Nicole on the camera so we can, you can see her. There she is. And we're going to hand it over to you, Nicole, to talk to us a little bit about Ujamaa. But before that, I just want to ask you one question. What made you decide to say yes when the offer was extended for you to join us during Kwanzaa Live to talk about one of the principles, in this case, the principle of Ujamaa?
Well, I was excited when you reached out to me because I haven't been intentional in the past few years on celebrating Kwanzaa in a specific way. Since I was, I guess, a senior in high school, college, my cousin exposed me to the principles of Kwanzaa. And one of the things that I do each year for myself, I don't do the whole candle lighting and everything, but I do take the time to think about each principle and how I want to live each principle of Kwanzaa during the next year. So that's a part of my, people do New Year's resolutions. I think the framework of the principles of Kwanzaa is a really good way to be intentional about how to live your life purposefully in the community each year. And so that is something that I do personally myself. So when you reached out to me to ask, I actually was excited to actually do something in community in the relationship, in the way that I celebrate Kwanzaa personally. I should be doing it more outward. And so I was like, it was hard for me to choose which one I wanted to do, but this makes sense.
Thank you so much. And it's important for us to understand why we do the things we do. And it's funny how, as we look through the 7 days of Kwanzaa this year, and as we were reaching out to different people were kind of came up in my heart to reach out to for certain principles. And all of them said yes. All of them said yes. And some people I said, you pick one, and I was hoping, I was like, please pick this one, please pick this one. I didn't want to influence it, and it always worked out the way that I was hoping. You mentioned the candles. The last thing I'll say, then I'll turn it over to you to talk about Ujamaa. The Kanara are the candles. And traditionally, what you do every day is you have the 7 candles. You light the black candle in the center first. That's for Umoja or unity. Then you light the first candle to the left, and then you light the first candle to the right, and then you light the next candle to the left, which is where we are tonight. talking about Ujamaa. Each candle does have meaning, and there's a process to lighting the Kanara for those who are practicing that. If not, we have our Kanara downstairs on the kitchen table, and not one candle has been lit, but it looks cool. It looks cool. But we have the candle and the cup, which signifies fellowship, and it sits on top of the mat as well. So some of the traditional things are there just for traditional purposes, but there is meaning behind each of them. So look, we're going to hand it over to you, Nicole, to tell us a little bit about Ujamaa, cooperative economics, and how it's relevant to us now. So over to you.
All right. Well, thank you. And just to give you all a little bit of background, by profession, I am a financial advisor. My organization, Nicole Financial Services Group, we do comprehensive financial planning and wealth management for individuals and business owners. And so Ujamaa, in that sense, is something that I practice on a workday daily basis. Today, I wanted to talk about Ujamaa in the sense of the collective business aspect, but I actually also wanted to add, because other ways that we can think about collective economics in our communities and the ways that we can practice collective economics so that each person feels like they have a part in doing this and how they can do it. Not just, you don't just have to be a business owner. You don't just have to support businesses. There are other ways that you can practice collective economics, and that we do practice collective economics almost on a daily basis. But maybe in 2025, you can think about how you can be more intentional about the way that you practice collective economics. So, first I'll start with one of the ways that I practice collective economics and that I was happy to be a part of as a business owner is the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce. It was formerly the Black Business Directory. And when I think about where I first came into knowledge of the principle of Ujamaa, it was sort of, how do we, build business together or build businesses that then we support each other in the community. From those profits, then we give back to the community in multiple ways. So either give back through philanthropy in the community, give back through providing jobs to community members so that then they can earn money and help their families to thrive, and then have funds to be able to also sort of keep that income or those economics within our community multiple times before they go out of our community. So, but nowadays, like, how do we keep doing that when, either we're not starting businesses ourselves, or how do we see that happening? So the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce is one of the ways that I see that happening, that they've created an organization to pull Black businesses together so that we can thrive and support each other, and through their organization to reach out and get other resources that can help the businesses who are members of that organization to build and do better in business, to be able to benefit the community. So that's an example of collective economics. So if you are a business owner and you aren't a member of the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, I would recommend that you join the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce. And that's a way that as a business owner, you can support collective economics. Another way that we support, that we practice collective economics as individuals on pretty much every Sunday. If you are a member of a church, in a sense, your tithes and offerings to that church is a practice of collective economics. When we give to our churches through tithes Our churches give back to the community to help the community thrive in different ways, especially in ways where there are need. And when those needs are filled, it helps individuals and families to be able to be more productive. And when they're more productive, they can do more within the community and give back to the community. And so, so your tithing and offerings with your church is a way that you can practice collective economics. And so you can be more intentional about the ways that you do that if you're already a church member. Or you can become a member of a church. So that could be a practice of you building collective economics within that church community and the community that your church impacts. This is something that I think that many people don't consider. I think because it is so broad, right? But I would have us to consider that the fact that we pay taxes as individuals and business owners to our local governments to be able to support the community in different ways, in education, and support the school division, right? Support secure safety and security through the police department and fire department and social services department. We practice collective economics because we pay taxes. Those taxes are collected, and then what happens is our boards of supervisors dictate how the monies will be distributed from what we give back into our communities for them to thrive. Okay. The way that I'm going to say that I would like for us to think about how do we impact that collective economics and those decisions other than us paying taxes, to be intentional about the sort of enforced collective economics of the fact that we pay taxes to our localities, especially um, by advocating for issues that are important to our community so that our boards of supervisors will fund those things and those areas that are key to allow our communities to thrive, right? Last night on was I trying cooperative relationships. I'm trying to remember Ujamaa. They talked about Stafford Black and the way that Stafford Black helped to create a cooperative where there became some power in the numbers of people coming together on issues that then they could have sway with the board of supervisors in Stafford to pay attention to the issues that were happening that needed to be supported in the Black community in Stafford. And so, as a member of the school board, we pay our taxes as individuals and families and homeowners and business owners. And we want those collective economics to go to our schools to be able to have quality education for our kids. And thereby that is a part of building a thriving community for me in Spotsylvania, for others in Stafford, or whatever school division or area that you're in. But you have to advocate for them to spend the money where you want them to go into our community. So we need to be intentional about showing up and advocating for those dollars that we spend on taxes to go where our community most needs it. Okay. I think, I hope I'm surprising you with the ways that you can practice collective economics more intentionally on a regular basis with what we are already doing to pool in ways that we're already pooling our funds. Okay. To the point of having elected officials actually dictate in a sense, or support issues and funding of certain areas within our community. One way that is near and dear to me, especially now, as I embark on a campaign for running for House of Delegates to be a state representative for our community, is pooling our funds to elect the people who are going to support the issues that impact our communities or your family or your individual life the most, making sure that you're contributing to those campaigns so those individuals can be put in the seat to actually represent you and your issues, making sure that you're donating to campaigns. And I do believe that in both the African American community and Latino community, it is less of a emphasis or less desire or push or motivation to actually buy funding or in making investment in elected officials or in candidates who will represent you. There's less of that happening within our communities. And so it is not a surprise when we don't see that our elected officials are actually doing a great job representing us, because we're not helping to make sure that they are elected into office by investing in their campaigns. So I would say, think about next year. We have an election in Virginia. How can you practice collective economics to support candidates that are going to support your communities, that are going to support your family with the issues that they support in the community? Let's see, what else? My screen went down. Hold on. So another example is, the Juneteenth event that Gary and that we're doing now in February. I mean, not in February, in June. In June, at the I didn't say February. I'm thinking in Fredericksburg at the stadium, or other Juneteenth events that are happening in different areas. Caroline County has a Juneteenth event. We have a Juneteenth event in the greater Fredericksburg area at the Fred Nat Stadium. That is another way to practice collective economics, by supporting events like that, and organizations who are pulling those events together. If you're a business owner, get a table, put your business there so that people in the community that come to the event can know about your business, can support your business there and then in the future. As an individual, if you don't have a business, attend events like that, so that then you can support those businesses and support the organizations that come out, who are in and around our community, because there's political committees represented. There are nonprofit organizations represented. There are people running for office represented. There are businesses represented. And that's a way for our community to come together with your finances, and pool our resources to be able to do bigger and better things in our community, and share with each other ways that we can, in a sense, finance and invest in our community, invest in our kids in the community by bringing them to events like that, so that they can see businesses, they can see the community leaders and meet them, and it be a more personal environment, so that they can build and grow as well. And that's all part of the collective economics. I always say that I help people with their personal finances a lot. And so, we can individually impact our personal finances. When we come together and do things in groups, that's where we are able to affect the economy, right? And affect the economics of our community. And so I would challenge each of us to pick a way, because there are ways that you're already doing it. You're already putting the money there. Pick a way that you will be more intentional in how you practice collective economics to help our communities thrive in 2025.
Thrive in 2025. Look, thrive is part of the theme of our church for this year too. So you hit that right on the right on the money. Wow,
Excellent.
I love how you tied so many different practical examples of Ujamaa into your presentation, and I had them up on the screen. If I bring them up now, it'll cover your face. So I'll just read them. You mentioned the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce. My wife's business and our nonprofit Enough have been members of the Black Business Directory initially, and now the Black Chamber of Commerce for many years. And that is a great example of cooperative economics. And because not only do we support them in their directory to help drive our businesses and bring awareness to our businesses, but they give back and offer so many courses and networking opportunities and expos and different ways for business owners to grow and collaborate and work together. And again, to cooperatively, begin to grow and expand our businesses in our communities. And it helps us understand where we can invest our own dollars in our community to help make our community stronger. So the VA, the Black Chamber of Commerce, is a great practical example. You mentioned Stafford Black. We talked about that just the other night when we talked about collective work and responsibility. And one of the things we used to do with Stafford Black was we had what we call a blackout. It was BLACC out. And we would identify a business per month, a minority-owned business in the community, and there are thousands of people in Stafford Black. And we would say, for this month, everybody do what you can. If you have need of those types of services, target that business. And we had a couple of businesses actually tell us we had to stop because they didn't have the resources to accommodate, especially restaurants when we did it for a couple of restaurants and other service-based businesses. And we're going to restart the blackout.
I love that
as well, right? Again, a perfect example of Ujamaa. When you mentioned taxes, I said, okay, where's she going to go with taxes? But it makes sense, right? We're going to pay our taxes. We're going to spend those dollars. Why not make sure that we're doing all we can to make sure those dollars are helping economically in our communities, in our cities, in our towns, in our neighborhoods, etc. And even the comment you made about supporting elected officials financially, if you can, to Monica's point, because those donations go a long way. I've never run for office. I never will run for office, but I happen to know people that have run, and I admire and honor and respect you. And the best I can do is send you a couple of bucks because I know that those bucks go a long way, and it ties right into Ujamaa because people like you and Monica and Josh and so many others are at the table making decisions that can help our business community, that can help our communities overall, our schools, etc. So why not help economically with people like that? And then you mentioned Juneteenth. The foundation for the Juneteenth celebration at the stadium, prior to the stadium, but the last 2 years at the Fred Nett Stadium, was the expo, the business expo. That's why we only charge $35 a table. And business owners leave there all making a profit, all meeting hundreds and hundreds of new customers, expanding their footprint throughout the area. And that was the foundation. The music and the history and those things are all great, but really the foundation was focusing on the business community here in this area. And it was really all about Ujamaa. And we didn't really know that that's really what it was all about. So you named some great practical examples for Ujamaa. And that's the purpose of Kwanzaa Live, to not only explain the history of Kwanzaa and explain the principles, but help to be practical about it. So when we hang up and go our separate ways, we can think of ways we can bring these principles to life, in our lives. So thank you for doing such a great job at that. That was really cool. And as I was writing, I said, wow, she's making this pretty easy.
Yay.
So look, Nicole, as we wrap up here, we have a couple of minutes left. Any final thoughts or comments from you regarding the things you have coming up next year, or just any final thoughts on Ujamaa, on Kwanzaa Live? You have a few minutes to just share your closing remarks. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So Delegate Joshua Cole and I are doing a joint campaign kickoff. Delegate Joshua Cole is running again next year for HD House District 65, and I am right south of him in House District 66, running for that seat, looking to to gain that seat and be able to be a representative for House District 66, which is about half of Spotsylvania and a majority of Caroline County. And so I will be on the path. My website is www.nicolecole.com. So I made it easy. I look to be able to support my community in that way. I will still be on school board until December 31st of 2025, and look to continue to represent the community there. And just say, in whatever ways we have local elections next year outside of the state elections. So we also have, at least in Spotsylvania, local school board elections, local board of supervisors elections. So I would ask that people engage, make sure you're aware of who is running and who they are and how will they benefit your community, so that you don't vote blindly. It is very important so that we have good representatives come 2026.
Awesome. That you're definitely we're singing, we're marching to the same beat. That's a passion of ours. That enough in our nonprofit, it always has been for a number of years, is going out and helping educate people on the upcoming elections, on the candidates, giving people the tools to do their own research to understand who it is they're considering voting for. So they vote for people that are advocating for the things that they care about. So your last 30 seconds there really was ideal for me. You kind of plucked one of my heartstrings there. Look, you mentioned Josh. 2 nights from now, Josh is actually going to be on Kwanzaa Live talking about Kwanzaa or creativity. And tomorrow night, senior pastor at the church where I serve, Zion Church of Fredericksburg, Dr. Angela Thomas, will be on Kwanzaa Live, and she's talking about Nia, or purpose. So 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, Kwanzaa Live. Dr. A is going to be talking about Nia, purpose. After that, we'll have Josh, Delegate Josh Cole, talking about Kwanzaa or creativity. And our final night will be Ivan Coates, as he talks about Imani or faith. So look, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you, Nicole, for your time. And thanks for sharing such great information about Ujamaa, and everybody that's listening. Try to put some of these practices, some of these things she shared tonight into practice. And let's all be more intentional about building our economy collectively, right? All of our businesses, let's build them collectively, keep our dollars in our communities so we can all grow together. All right. Happy Kwanzaa, everybody. God bless
Happy
you.
Kwanzaa, Ujamaa.
All right. See you tomorrow night. Take care now.
Take care.